Well, joining me now is Alana McTiernan and Angus Taylor to discuss this and the rest of the day's issues. Thank you both very much for your company. First, you, Angus Taylor. Has anyone sounded you out privately about your support for Tony Abbott or any other candidate?
No, of course not. And you know, there's much ado here about nothing. You know, the Prime Minister's office is doing exactly the right thing in focusing the debate on the economy, focusing on how we deliver a lower taxing government with better government services, and contrasting that with a Labor Party that is coming out cleanly now saying that its intention, if it gets into government, is to raise taxes.
Even
they're the things that I see the Prime Minister's office focusing on, and they're exactly the right things.
Even Andrew Bolt suggests that it could be fatal now for the Prime Minister.
Well, Andrew Bolt is entitled to his opinion.
There is a fair bit of ringing around going on, though. The backbench in particular, fairly jumpy, trying to gauge the mood of other backbenchers. Do you concede that?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not getting those calls. Maybe someone is, but I'm not getting those calls. Look, the general view here within the coalition, I can tell you, is very clear. We need to focus on the things that matter for Australians. What Australians want is rising incomes. They want to keep taxes low. They want better, more efficient government services. And that's the discussion we are having, and certainly I'm having with my colleagues when I speak to them on the phone.
What about the fact, though, that Conservative commentators in particular are coming out so hard? They take their cues from direct contact with members of your party, and some are saying that, yeah, Tony Abbott's position is terminal.
Oh, friends give you advice. They're entitled to give you advice. That's fine.
It's pretty firm advice.
Well, they can do that. But, you know, I think they all want one thing more than any other. They want a stronger, more prosperous Australia. And they don't want, and this is the most important thing, they don't want a Labor government coming back that can increase our taxes, that can run up debt for our kids, because they know that if Labor get him back into government at the next election, that's what will happen.
Alana McTiernan, as for the catalyst in all of this, the knighthood, it was universally regarded, or almost universally regarded as a bad call, but it doesn't waste any taxpayer money, and there is a precedent for this. Canada, New Zealand have given highest honours to Prince Philip, and also Bob Hawke did the same. Are we blowing this out of proportion?
No, it's very interesting. Angus is saying that what his party wants to talk about is economic issues, but it's Tony Abbott's complete lack of a political antenna that has created this problem. I mean, anyone would have seen that making a decision like this was going to suck up oxygen from absolutely everything else. You know, for many Australians, it's a poor symbol. We had an honours system that was a uniquely Australian honours system. It wasn't a Knights and Dames. There was a lot of controversy about the Knights and Dames introduction and the fact that it wasn't in keeping with the egalitarian spirit of Australia. And now Mr Abbott has come in over the top and made an award to a member of the British royal family. Now, I can understand Angus is saying that he wants to be talking about the economy, and I think that's why so many Liberals and Conservative commentators are angry about Tony Abbott, because he's the one that has taken the game away from mainstream politics into this by making such a ridiculous decision.
Why is this award, though, so much worse than the one Bob Hawke gave to Prince Philip?
Well, we have a system of Australian honours that are uniquely Australian, that they're based the Order of Australia. You don't get a new title, and I guess it's really the symbolism of this, given that Mr Abbott created a fair bit of controversy by reintroducing the Old English system based on concepts of nobility, and then saying that was going to be for preeminent Australians. Look, but I really do think the big issue here, and why this is causing such a furore, is that it does indicate that Tony Abbott is absolutely out of step and not tuning into the zeitgeist of the Australian community. And I think that's what's got his own party members and the Conservative commentators, even Rupert, offside on this one.
Is Peter Credlin doing a good job, his Chief of Staff?
I said I'm not going to get into evaluating my colleagues' offices, and I certainly see the Prime Minister's office is focusing on the right things. You know, at the end of the day, Labor doesn't want to talk about the economy. They'd much rather talk about this because their Treasurer and Assistant Treasurer have both come out in the last couple of weeks saying that they intend to bring back old taxes.
We will talk in depth about
Angus,
no wonder
this
they
was
don't
a
want to talk
problem.
about no wonder they don't want to talk about
Let's
the
just hold on the tax for now, because I promise you we will get to this in a moment. I just want to stick to this for a little longer. What does Tony Abbott need to do now, Angus?
Well, he needs to focus on the issues that matter for Australia, and that's exactly what he's doing. He needs to focus on how we have a stronger and more prosperous Australia, a more secure Australia, and that's exactly what he's doing. And importantly, in this year, as we get closer to the next election, he needs to paint, and he is painting the contrast between what we offer, better government services, more efficient government services, and what Labor will offer if they get into government, which is higher taxes and more debt.